Yeah, it's a big opportunity for us, especially in front of a home crowd tonight. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and we're looking forward to the challenge. They're going to be a desperate team out there tonight, so we're going to have to put together a full 60 minutes like we did against them last week.
You weren't here through the last full 10 years of this. What's your sense of what the fan base has maybe been through going that long without playoffs, and maybe what this means to to fans?
Yeah, this is the definition of a hockey city, and they've been pretty hungry for playoff hockey for quite some time. So, like I said, to hopefully be able to clinch a playoff spot tonight in front of the home fans is going to be, it's going to be an exciting time for them and a big confidence boost for us.
Where has the even keel and that ability to park it that McLellan talks about a lot, where do you think that has originated from?
I think just the guys in this room that have come in and taken leadership roles and stuff like that. Some guys that have been there before and know what it's like to battle through that and come out the other side better for it. So it's just guys in this room take care of it. It doesn't take too much from the coaching staff. We've addressed it as a team with the leadership group and stuff like that. So it's just knowing that we can come out of it and having the ability, and we've shown that this year, that we can win those tight games to get ourselves out of those little slumps.
Sorry, Cam, but given the stakes, do you think there'll be a little bit of extra nerves in the room before you guys go out there? How you manage that?
I think it's just going to be more excitement than nerves. It's, like you said, it's a big night. It's been a long time coming for this city, and hopefully we can go out there and give the fans a good show tonight and do what we need to do and take care of business.
How about for you? What has the last little bit been like? We know you like to bounce back quick, and have you sort of gone through the last few days?
Yeah, just taking it upon myself to just have a good couple days in practice. Had a good pregame skate the other night and before the Colorado game, and just kind of getting back to basics and just working on some tracking and stuff. The technical stuff doesn't go away. It's just getting back to what I've been doing all year and putting it in play tonight.
Is it a good mental break to just get 3 or 4 days where you're just not playing, you're not playing, to just clean your slate a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. I've been carrying a pretty heavy load so far this year, and to get a few days off here and have an LB play as well as he did when he did come in was great to see. So it's nice to, like you said, kind of take that mental break and watch him get us a few big points there. So it was nice.
how do you look at the significance of this game? I know there are bigger picture goals this season, but to actually hopefully clinch tonight, how do you look at the significance?
Yeah, it'd be nice, obviously, to get that peace of mind, I guess, knowing that would be there. But obviously, LA's a tough team, and they're desperate. They're going to be fighting. So we got a lot to do before we can think about that.
What's your? I know you've only been here for a couple of years, but what's your sense of the fan base? Maybe a little bit of what they've had to endure. It's been 10 years since the playoffs. Just as you talk to people and get a sense from them what it's been like and what this means to them.
Yeah, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We obviously know what's at stake, and the fans have been through a lot. But we'll clinch, and then we'll talk about that. Obviously, they have been through a tough time over the significant period of 10 years or whatever, and we'll clinch, and then we'll start talking about that.
You were 8 years old the last time this team made the playoffs. Does that kind of put things in perspective?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Like I keep saying, the fans have been through a lot. They stuck with us. They're still very loyal, and we obviously really appreciate that.
Ideally, teams want to be ratcheting things up and gearing up as you go into the playoffs, bringing your game to a new level. How do you assess where this team's game is right now?
Yeah, we've done some good things. We've beat some good teams. But it's a dogfight. You're kind of looking at it. You could finish anywhere from first in your division to second in the wild card. So, it definitely is still a dogfight right to the end.
Chance to make it kind of official tonight, Jordan. How much does that maybe resonate with you, considering how long you've been here and what you've been through?
Yeah, obviously you play here to make the playoffs, and hasn't gone the way we've wanted the past few years. And being here the longest to finally have that opportunity to do it, it's exciting. I think from day one, since I've been here, we played with a lot of the guys who were in the run there, and I think it was 06, and they talk about the fans and how crazy it was in this building. So. Hopefully finally get that opportunity and have an opportunity to do it tonight. It's exciting.
Have you sensed it around town at all? I mean, you were here through those years where there was disappointment this time of year. Just people you run into, the feeling you get from the city, does it feel a lot different?
Yeah, the fans are excited. I think much like the dressing room and the organization, we're finally have a good hockey team here and we're winning hockey games. So I think the fans, obviously there's highs and lows, and we've been through a lot of lows, but we're finally back on a pace here where we, like I said, finally get a chance to hopefully get some playoff games. And I think you walk around the city, you talk to people and people within the organization, and we're excited too.
For you personally, what does today feel like? Does it kind of feel a different feel to it than?
No, I think we're taking it as approach as any other game. I think once it hopefully finally happens, it'll be a sense of relief. But I think you still look at the standings, and there's still a lot of work to be done as far as positional and giving ourselves the best opportunity to have success in the playoffs. And whether it's first is still up for grabs, or who your opponent might be, or home ice, or whatever. So that's all still important.
Is it important to get this out of the way?
You know what? It hasn't been talked about much in the locker room at all. Obviously, we know it's there, but I think there's more important goals in mind as far as where we want to finish, and giving ourselves the best opportunity to hopefully put in a bit of a run.
How does it feel to be a 500 game man in the NHL?
Well, it's a lot easier knowing that there's playoff games around the corner. So, it's been a lot of ups and downs for sure. I've loved my time playing here in Edmonton and enjoyed it. So, like I said, it makes it a lot easier knowing that there's hopefully some playoff games coming up.
With so much at stake.
It's time for another Sportsnet Brightest Stars Showdown. I'm your host, Chris Westcott for Oilers TV. It's your last week to win the prize pack, so watch closely and submit your vote. Last week, Christine was our fan winner, and Maroon's goal received the most votes. This week, it's Guess Who? Connor McDavid is back for another play of the week. He's up against Laurent Brossois' big-time save. Let's take a look.
Silverberg, he will backhand it down the ice. Russell gets there ahead of Kessler. McDavid moving in against Fowler. Here's McDavid, backhand, scores! Connor McDavid, it's 2-1. His 26th goal of the season.
I run out of words for Connor McDavid.
To get it back to the point there, Dave puts it out in front. Now here's Johnson with a lead pass to Soderberg. They got a 2-on-1 here. Soderberg, Como in. What a stop by Laurent Brossois. Puck is still loose after Brossois makes a 5-bell save.
And a penalty coming up here, I believe, to the Avalanche.
And the crowd rises to his feet as he's made the best save of his young career.
Will it be McDavid or Brossois? You decide. Vote for your favorite Brightest Stars moment at edmontonoilers.com/brighteststars or reply directly to the Facebook or Twitter post with your selection, and be sure to tag Sportsnet and the Oilers along with the hashtag Brightest Stars. You do that and it gives you a chance to win 2 tickets to Rogers Place when the Oilers host the Ducks April 1st. The experience includes complimentary food and beverage and a behind-the-scenes tour of Rogers Place. Our weekly winners will be joining all weekly winners in the Sky Lounge at the game on April 1st. Visit edmontonoilers.com/brighteststars for full contest rules and regulations and to cast your vote. It's Sportsnet Brightest Stars Showdown. Will you be the winner?
Hockey is more than just a game. For many, it's a lifestyle. The sweat-soaked smell of the dressing room. The logo that represents an unbreakable bond. The roar of the crowd. Winter means hockey, and hockey means everything. Some say Canadians are born on skates, but for Windsor, Ontario native Zack Kassian, ice hockey didn't start until a later age.
I didn't start hockey till I was 8 years old. I played a lot of street hockey and things like that, but one day out of the blue, I went to my mom and said I wanted to play ice hockey, and she made it happen. And from there, you couldn't get me off the ice. I fell in love with the game. I can't pinpoint just one thing. I think just, for the most part, just going out there, playing with the puck, skating around. I just had a real joy for the game.
In today's NHL, Kassian is known around the league as a well-rounded forward, but he's also a force to be reckoned with.
Center for Zack Kassian. Big collision right in front of the Flames bench.
He doesn't have his stick. He's able to get it back now. Big hit by Kassian.
To his game along with the size. Back behind a big hit by Kassian. Kelly Stone took a huge hit in the corner. Was that Kassian again? We're going to have a tilt here. Borowiecki trying to get his left hand free. Misses with a left hook. Eats a left hook from Kassian. And then more wrestling. And Kassian powers him to the ice.
Kassian start a fight. And look at Kassian come with the left hand. Zack Kassian getting up and throwing lefts. He's not finished. And finally the takedown on Manson.
It's a message. Don't think we're the same old Oilers that you've been seeing the last number of years.
Zack started to develop his identity as a player when he was a 16-year-old playing with the Peterborough Petes of the Ontario Hockey League.
Coach started to work with me, coaches that we had in Peterborough, kind of describing what I kind of had to do to get to the next level, because growing up, yeah, it's every kid's dream to play in the NHL, but I wasn't sure. I didn't really know. I just played the game and played the game as hard as I could and wanted to see what happened. But as I got older, and I think in Peterborough it started when I thought maybe I could make a living doing this, and that's when things kind of took a curve and really got serious.
Kassian continued to polish his game, and in 2009 in Montreal, Quebec, was rewarded by being selected 13th overall by the Buffalo Sabres in the NHL entry draft.
people try to tell you to relax and just enjoy the moment, but when it's happening, it is pretty stressful. You have your friends and family there, which is awesome, but when you're sitting there waiting for your name to get called, it seems like every 2 minutes takes an hour. Time drags on, but when you finally hear your name called, it's a pretty special moment to hear it and to spend it with your family. It's the day I'm always going to remember. In your mind, you know there's a lot of work still to be done, but you really don't know how much and how hard you have to work to get to the NHL. Getting drafted is one thing, but to get here is another, and then to stay here is a whole other level. So that was a pretty special moment, but after the draft, that's when things really started to shape up, and that's when things really had to start to get to work.
Over the next 2 seasons, Zack would spend time with his hometown team, Windsor Spitfires, before making his professional debut with the Portland Pirates of the American Hockey League. In 2011, Kassian moved to the Rochester Americans, and later that year he made his NHL debut with the Buffalo Sabres.
I remember I was, a lot of nerves were going through, but it was one of those things, once the game started, just went out and played, and I ended up getting an assist in my first game, lucky, but that kind of settled the nerves a bit, and that's when I really started to know I wanted to play here full time, and I wanted to earn every bit of it. I think when you get there, you try to look at the guys that have been there the longest. That's what I kind of did, and I didn't so much ask that many questions. I kind of just would always keep an eye on how they were preparing and how they handled things. And in Buffalo, it was the Thomas Vaneks, the Millers, the goalie Miller, Roy, Paul Manville. There was a lot of guys that are still playing in the NHL today that were good players, and I kind of just watched them, how they worked in practice and in games.
Kassian's life as a Sabre was short-lived, only playing 27 games in a Buffalo uniform before being traded to the Vancouver Canucks.
Complete shock. I was in the truck heading to the airport. I believe we were flying out to California, and I got a call from Darcy Aguirre, and he told me I'd been traded to the Vancouver Canucks, and pretty shocked. Wasn't expecting it, but once I got to Vancouver, I was pretty excited about the opportunity. Really enjoyed my time there. It was something that I'll always remember. I played 3.5 years there, so it was kind of where a good chunk of my professional career was.
In the summer of 2015, Zack was sent to the Montreal Canadiens, but before he could join the Habs, the young forward found himself in trouble with the NHL after a car accident in early October. A few days later, Kassian entered Stage 2 of the NHL's substance abuse program.
It had to happen, sadly. Like I said, it had to happen. If it wasn't then, it was going to come eventually. I just wish I would have had the mindset I do today then. I wish I had my mindset that I do now in Buffalo, who knows. But there was nothing really to say there. It had to happen, sadly, and that's that. It was frustrating, but all in all, it ended up working out.
2 months later, Zack completed the program and was reinstated by the National Hockey League. With his career up in the air, Kassian received a phone call.
We already got the mics back.
Go.
I don't know what Rashog's waiting for.
It's okay. We're good?
I'm just waiting for him.
Do you want to give him a sec? Todd, are you in a rush?
No, I'm good. Get it set up or do whatever you need to do or yell.
Todd, do you guys, Do you approach this as though it's any other game, or is it kind of goes without saying the clinching scenario, or how do you go about it?
Well, we're not, we're not dummies. I think we all are aware of the opportunity that's in front of us, but the preparation and the approach will be the same as it is any other night, and that's something we want to continue to do, as we move forward in all the games that we play from now until we're done. The opponent is what's in the way, and I've seen that opponent when their backs are up against the wall, they don't disappear. So that'll be a message that we'll deliver to the group, and they'll have to be prepared to face the best LA Kings team we faced all year, and that'll happen tonight.
Todd, Nugent Hopkins and Lucic have played against the other team's top lines at different points in their career. Eberle's never really done it a whole bunch, and he's doing it more. How has he adjusted to that role, which has had maybe more of an onus on defense than offense?
I think he's accepted the responsibility of that. He knows that if he's with Luch and Nuge on a regular basis, they're probably going to get that type of matchup. And therefore, he's focused on it a little bit more. I think his board work has been better. He's been a little more responsible defensively. He's been able to check and give up less than he has in the past. And part of that's accepting the role and knowing that it's going to happen.
Have you seen him, sorry, Ryan, has that impacted his offense at all, thinking about defense? Is that just something that's expected to maybe focus more on that and then you hope the offense comes?
No, I wouldn't let anybody off the hook in that situation, because I think if you play good defense and you're defending and checking well, you position yourself well for offense. So I don't think you give up one to do the other. I think you're complete, and when you're complete, things happen for you.
Todd, we asked Connor about potentially clinching a playoff spot and what that could mean for fans and everything, and his response was, let's do it, and then we'll talk about it. Do you like that?
Yep. I don't know what else you want me to say. Yep, I do, because he's our leader. He's taking a very professional approach, and as I mentioned yesterday, they put an asterisk there next to your team name or your club name when you've done it, not leading up to it. And the opponent again tonight they're not going anywhere tonight, and they're not going anywhere from now till the end of the season. So I know that. We got a lot of work to do. We've got to put some points in the bank if we want to make that happen.
Is there something psychologically about getting in tonight, or getting in as soon as you can and having the rest of the season, as short as it is, to be able to concentrate on that?
I don't think there is anything there. Game at a time. If we're fortunate enough to gain enough points as this season plays out, then we'll turn our attention to the next game, not necessarily to the playoffs. We have to continue to build and get better as we go. You just don't turn a switch and go from regular season mode into playoff mode and leave 4, 5, 6 games unattended. That can get you into a lot of trouble. So we'll approach it one game at a time. That's all we're doing.
Just want to ask you about Jordan Eberle as well. 500 games he played on the weekend, his 500th game rather. Can you comment on just him as a pro and what it means to play 500 games in the NHL?
I think it's a real feather in his cap and for any other player that can spend that amount of time with one organization, especially an organization that has had a tough run getting into the playoffs. A lot of times there's dramatic turnover in that situation. Jordan's been able to play through that. A lot of people, media-wise, fan-wise, coach-wise even, we're hard on Jordan because we're pushing him to become the best player he possibly can. But I can tell you he's one of the most professional players we have. He's grown up and he studies the game. He accepts responsibility for his play and the team's play. He asks very bright, intelligent questions. He spends time studying his position. So I think he's done a tremendous job over those 500 games to grow up and apply his trait.
I know there's not tremendous numbers for Iginla right now, but is he still a guy at 39 you have to keep a real close eye on out there?
Yes, you do. He has the same hands, he has the same mind, and he has the same shot as he always has. You naturally, as you get a little bit older, you may lose just a little bit of pace or stride. I'm not going to judge him on that by any means, but he's a dangerous player, and I think more importantly, he's dangerous in that locker room. He's got experience, and he's a proud man. He's gonna come out and compete. We saw that, what was it, a week ago or 8 days ago when he was here.